Taiho floated through the narrow corridor of the space station, carrying his toolbox. The metal walls hummed with the familiar sound of air systems working. He had been an engineer on Harmony Dawn for 2 years now. It was a quiet job, mostly fixing broken things and checking systems. That was how he liked it. "Taiho, can you check the cooling unit in Section B?" Yuna's voice came through his radio. She was the commander of their station. 15 people lived here orbiting high above Earth. "On my way," Taiho replied. He pushed off the wall and glided toward Section B. That was when the alarm started screaming. Red lights flashed everywhere. Taiho grabbed a handle on the wall to stop himself. His heart began to race. In 2 years, he had never heard this alarm before. "All crew to the main deck, now." Yuna's voice was sharp and urgent. Taiho pushed himself toward the main deck as fast as he could. Other crew members were doing the same, their faces showing confusion and fear. When he arrived, everyone was staring at the main window. A ship was attached to their station, but it was like no ship Taiho had ever seen. It was black and smooth, shaped like a teardrop. Strange purple lights pulsed along its surface. It had connected to their docking port without asking permission. "I didn't authorize this," Jinho said. He was the pilot, a big man with steady hands. Now those hands were shaking. It just attached itself. "Try to contact them," Yuna ordered. She stood tall, but Taiho could see the tension in her shoulders. Jinho worked at his control panel. No response. Nothing on any frequency. Then they heard it. A sound like metal bending. The docking door was opening from the outside. "Everyone get back," Yuna shouted. She pulled out an emergency flare gun. It was the only weapon they had on the station. The door slid open with a hiss. White mist poured out. And through that mist she walked. She looked like a woman, but something was terribly wrong. Her skin was too pale, almost glowing. Her eyes were completely black like pools of ink. She was tall and thin, wearing a suit that seemed to be made of liquid metal. When she moved, it was too smooth, too perfect. "Greetings," she said, but her mouth didn't move. The voice appeared inside their heads, making several crew members cry out in surprise. "Who are you?" Yuna demanded, pointing the flare gun. "You violated international space law by boarding without permission." The woman tilted her head like a bird studying an insect. "Law, interesting concept. I am a harvester. You may call me Valora. I come from far beyond your small system. What do you want?" Yuna asked. Valora smiled. Her teeth were too white, too sharp. "Sustenance. Your species has something my people need. We have traveled so far, searched so long, and now we have found you." Before anyone could react, Valora moved. She was suddenly across the room, faster than Taiho's eyes could follow. She grabbed a scientist named Kim. The man screamed. Valora's mouth opened wide. 2 long fangs extended from her upper jaw. She bit into Kim's neck. The scream stopped. Kim's body went stiff. His skin turned gray, then white. In seconds, he looked like a dried husk. Valora dropped him and sighed with pleasure. "Exquisite," she said. "So much life force. So much potential." Chaos exploded. People screamed and ran in different directions. Yuna fired the flare gun. The bright red flare hit Valora in the chest and bounced off like hitting stone. Valora didn't even flinch. "Run!" Yuna screamed. "Get to the escape pods." Taiho ran. His mind couldn't process what he had just seen. It was impossible. Vampires weren't real. Aliens that drank blood weren't real. But Kim's body was floating in the corridor behind him, empty and dead. He heard more screams. Wet, terrible sounds. He didn't look back. Taiho made it to the medical bay. 3 other crew members were already there, trying to lock the door. Dr. Song was working frantically at a computer. "Maybe we can seal off sections," she said. "Trap her somewhere." The door exploded inward. Valora stood in the doorway, blood on her pale lips. Not red blood. It glowed faintly purple. "Please," Dr. Song begged. "Please, we can talk. We can negotiate." "There is nothing to discuss," Valora said calmly. "My people are dying. Your blood can sustain us. This is not cruelty. This is survival." She moved like lightning. One by one, she grabbed them. Taiho watched in frozen horror as his friends were drained of life. Their screams would haunt him forever. He ran again. The station had become a nightmare. Bodies floated in the corridors. The emergency lights cast everything in blood-red shadows. He could hear Valora moving through the station, hunting them like animals. Taiho found Jinho trying to break into the weapons locker. "Guns!" Jinho shouted. "We need guns." He got the locker open and pulled out a pistol. When Valora appeared at the end of the corridor, Jinho fired 3 times. The bullets hit her but flattened against her skin like hitting armor. Valora laughed. Primitive. Jinho charged at her with a metal pipe. He was brave. He fought hard. It didn't matter. Valora moved around his attacks like a dancer. Then she grabbed him and fed. Taeho watched Jinho die. The big man who had taught him to pilot shuttles. The man who made jokes during long shifts. Gone in seconds, only 5 crew members were left. They gathered in the engineering section, the only place they could still seal. Yuna was there, her face covered in tears and rage. We can't fight her, Yuna said. She's too strong, too fast. Taeho's hands were shaking. There has to be a way. There isn't, Yuna said quietly. But maybe we can save someone. She looked at him. Taeho, you're the youngest. You know how to pilot the escape pods. I want you to go. I won't leave you, Taeho said. You have to. Yuna grabbed his shoulders. Someone needs to warn Earth. Tell them what's coming. The door started to glow red. Valora was cutting through it. Go. Yuna pushed him toward the pod bay. Go now. The other crew members stood with Yuna, forming a wall between Taeho and the door. They all knew they were going to die. Taeho ran. Tears blurred his vision. Behind him, he heard the door break open. He heard Yuna screaming in defiance. He heard everything go quiet. He reached the escape pod and threw himself inside. His hands fumbled with the controls. The pod sealed and launched, pushing him away from Harmony Dawn. Through the small window, Taeho could see the station getting smaller. That beautiful station that had been his home. Now it was a tomb. He was alone in the darkness of space, floating away, alive when everyone else was dead. And somewhere in that station, the thing called Valora was still hunting, but she would come for him eventually. He knew that. She would come for all of humanity. Taeho was the only witness, the only warning Earth would get before the monsters arrived. Taeho's escape pod drifted through space for 6 hours before Earth's rescue shuttle found him. He sat in the dark, staring at nothing, his mind replaying the deaths over and over. When the rescue team opened the pod, Taeho couldn't speak. He just shook. They wrapped him in a blanket and gave him water, but he couldn't stop seeing Valora's black eyes. They brought him to Earth Command, a military facility built into the side of a mountain. Generals and scientists crowded into a small room, all wanting to hear his story. Taeho told them everything. Some looked skeptical, others looked terrified. A vampire alien, General Park said. He was an old man with gray hair and hard eyes. You expect us to believe this? I know how it sounds, Taeho said. His voice was hoarse from crying. But it's true. She killed everyone. And she said others are coming. Dr. Sora stepped forward. She was a scientist who studied alien life, though until now there had been no alien life to study. We need to take this seriously. The station went dark. 15 people are dead. Something killed them. Could be a malfunction, another general suggested. Gas leak, pressure failure. I saw her. Taeho shouted, standing up. I watched her drink their blood. I watched my friends die. The room went quiet. Dr. Sora put a gentle hand on Taeho's shoulder. We believe you, she said softly. That was when the alarm started. Sir, a young officer burst into the room. We have multiple bogies entering Earth's atmosphere. 20 ships, same design as the one that attacked Harmony Dawn. Everyone rushed to the command center. On the large screens, Taeho could see them. 20 black ships descending toward Earth like falling stars. Scramble all fighters, General Park ordered. Get every military asset in the air now. Taeho watched the screens, his stomach twisting. Jets launched from bases around the world. Missiles streaked toward the alien ships. The first wave hit. The missiles exploded against the black ships and did nothing. The ships didn't even slow down. Conventional weapons aren't working, Dr. Sora said, her face pale. The alien ships landed in major cities. New York, London, Tokyo, Seoul, Mumbai. Anywhere there were large populations. The news feed showed panic in the streets. People running and screaming. Then the harvesters emerged from their ships. They looked like Valora. Pale skin, black eyes, moving with impossible grace. But there were so many of them. Hundreds poured out of each ship. They spread through the cities like a plague. The news cameras captured it all. Taeho watched, unable to look away, as the harvesters grabbed people off the streets. The feeding happened so fast. A scream, a struggle, then nothing but a dried corpse. They're killing thousands, someone whispered. Try everything, General Park commanded. Fire, electricity, explosives. Find something that works. Military units engaged the harvesters in the streets. Tejo watched soldiers fire rifles, throw grenades, even use flamethrowers. Nothing stopped them. The harvester's skin seemed to resist everything. Bullets bounced off. Fire didn't burn them. They were unstoppable. "We need to evacuate the cities," Dr. Sora said. "To where?" General Park snapped. "They're everywhere." A video feed showed a harvester in Seoul speaking to the camera. Its voice came through like Valora's had, inside everyone's mind who watched. "People of Earth," it said, "we are not monsters. We are survivors. Our world is dying. A plague ravages our people. We need life essence to sustain ourselves. Your blood contains this essence. We have searched 1,000 worlds. You are the first species compatible with our needs." "They're trying to justify genocide," Dr. Sora said, disgusted. The harvester continued. "We do not wish to end your species. We only need enough to save our own. Resistance is futile. You cannot harm us. Submit, and the harvest will be quick." Across the world, people made different choices. Some ran, some hid. Some fought anyway, even knowing it was useless. And some, broken by fear, simply gave up and waited to die. Tejo stared at the screens, feeling helpless. All his life, he had fixed things. Machines made sense to him. But how do you fix this? How do you fight something that couldn't be hurt? "There has to be a weakness," Dr. Sora muttered, scrolling through data. "Every living thing has a weakness." "They're not killing everyone," an analyst reported. "The harvesting rate is about 30% in each area. They take some and leave others. Cattle management," General Park said bitterly. "They're farming us." Days passed. The world descended into chaos. Governments fell. Cities burned. Millions died. The harvesters were methodical and efficient. They moved from place to place, feeding, then moving on. Tejo stayed at Earth Command, unable to leave, unable to help. He felt like a ghost. He should have died with his crew. Why was he still alive? Dr. Sora worked without sleep, trying to find anything useful. She studied the few harvester bodies that had been recovered. "Their cellular structure is incredible," she said. "Crystalline matrix instead of normal cells. That's why weapons don't work. It's like trying to break diamond." "So we're doomed," someone said. "I didn't say that." Dr. Sora looked at Tejo. "I need to run some tests on you." "Me? Why?" "You were exposed to one of them for an extended period. You were on that station. Maybe you have antibodies or some kind of immunity marker. Anything could help," Tejo agreed. They took his blood, scanned his body, analyzed everything. He sat in the medical bay while machines hummed around him. Dr. Sora came back hours later with a strange expression on her face. "What is it?" Tejo asked. "Your blood is unusual," she said. "You have a rare genetic condition. Your hemoglobin has a different structure than normal humans. Extra copper-iron hybrid bonding. It's harmless to you, but it makes your blood chemistry unique." "So what does that mean?" "I don't know yet, but it's the only anomaly I've found." Dr. Sora looked tired and desperate. It might mean nothing. Or it might be everything. Before Tejo could respond, alarms blared again. Everyone rushed to the command center. On the screens, one of the harvester ships was moving. It was rising from London, heading into orbit. Then it turned toward them. "It's coming here," General Park said. "They found us." The facility went into lockdown. Soldiers took positions. Heavy weapons were brought out, even though everyone knew they wouldn't work. Tejo felt his heart hammering. They were all going to die. The ship landed on the mountain above them. Through the external cameras, they watched as a single figure emerged. Even from far away, Tejo recognized her walk. Valora had come. She moved down the mountain toward the facility entrance. Soldiers fired at her. She walked through the bullets like walking through rain. Explosions erupted around her. She kept coming. "Seal all blast doors," General Park ordered. They sealed everything. 30 centimeters of reinforced steel between them and her. Everyone watched the cameras, holding their breath. Valora reached the main door. She placed one pale hand against it. The metal began to glow red, then white. It melted like butter. She stepped through into the facility. Soldiers opened fire. She ignored them, moving deeper into the complex. Toward the command center. Toward Tejo. "Why is she coming here?" Dr. Sora whispered. Tejo knew. Somehow he knew. "She's coming for me." Everyone stared at Tejo. General Park grabbed his arm. "What do you mean she's coming for you?" "I don't know," Tejo said. "I just feel it." "Get him to the escape tunnels," Dr. Sora said urgently. But it was too late. The final door to the command center began to glow. Valora was cutting through. Soldiers positioned themselves, weapons raised. Tejo could see the fear in their eyes. They knew what was about to happen. The door fell inward with a crash. Valora stepped through the smoke and sparks. Her black eyes scanned the room and stopped on Tejo. She smiled. "There you are," her voice said inside everyone's head. "The one who escaped. Fire." General Park screamed. Bullets filled the air. Valora moved between them like a dancer, too fast to track. She reached the first soldier and grabbed him. The man's scream cut off as his life drained away. Another soldier tried to tackle her. She tossed him aside like a toy. In seconds, half the soldiers were dead. The others backed away, still firing uselessly. "Stop," Valora said calmly. "I did not come for them. I came for him." She pointed at Tejo. Dr. Sora stepped in front of Tejo. "You'll have to go through me first." Valora tilted her head, studying her. "Brave, I respect that, but pointless." She moved forward. "Wait." Tejo pushed past Dr. Sora. His legs were shaking, but he stood tall. "You want me? Fine, take me. But leave them alone." Valora stopped. "Interesting. You would trade yourself for them?" "Yes. Even though you know what I will do to you?" Tejo's throat was dry. "Yes." Valora's black eyes seemed to look right through him. Such strange creatures, humans. So weak yet sometimes so brave. "Very well. Come here." Tejo walked forward. Every step felt like walking to his execution. Dr. Sora tried to grab him, but General Park held her back. They all knew there was no other choice. Tejo stopped in front of Valora. Up close, he could see she wasn't quite solid. Her skin seemed to shimmer slightly, like she was made of crystal. She smelled like ozone and something sweet he couldn't identify. "Turn your head," Valora commanded. Tejo did. He exposed his neck. He could feel her breath on his skin, cold as ice. This was it. He closed his eyes and thought of his crew. At least he would die trying to save someone. He felt a sharp pain in his hand. His eyes snapped open. Valora had pricked his finger with one of her nails. A single drop of blood welled up. She brought his finger to her lips and tasted it. Her reaction was instant and violent. Valora's eyes went wide. She stumbled backward, clutching her throat. A hissing sound came from her mouth. Where his blood touched her lips, her skin was smoking. "Impossible," she gasped. Her telepathic voice was filled with shock. She stared at Tejo like he was a ghost. "What are you?" I'm just a person," Tejo said, confused. Valora wiped her mouth. Her hand was shaking. "Your blood, it burns. It shouldn't be possible." Dr. Sora pushed forward. "His genetic condition, the copper-iron bonding. It must be toxic to you." Valora looked at Dr. Sora, then back at Tejo. "Toxic," she repeated. "Yes, poison to my kind. But also," she paused, "something else. Something I have never encountered." She stepped closer to Tejo again. He flinched, but she didn't attack. Instead, she reached out slowly and touched his face with her cold fingers. "You cannot save them," she said quietly, "but you might save my people." Before Tejo could ask what she meant, Valora leaned forward and kissed him on the forehead. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't gentle. It was like being struck by lightning. Images flooded into Tejo's mind. He saw Valora's world, a planet of crystal towers and purple skies. He saw her people, millions of them, beautiful and terrible. He saw them laughing, dancing, living. Then he saw the plague, a darkness that spread through their civilization. It fed on the very essence they needed to survive. The more they consumed from other species, the faster the plague killed them. They were trapped in a death spiral. He saw Valora's desperation, the endless search across the galaxy, the countless worlds they had harvested looking for a cure, the guilt she carried for the billions she had killed, the crushing weight of being the last hope for her dying people. And then he saw something else. His blood in Valora's vision, glowing with a strange light. It hurt her, yes, but it also attacked the plague inside her. It was killing the darkness. Tejo collapsed, overwhelmed. Strong hands caught him. Dr. Sora and a soldier lowered him to the ground. His head spun. He felt like he had lived 1,000 years in seconds. "What did you do to him?" Dr. Sora demanded. Valora looked tired suddenly. The predator was gone. She just looked sad. "I showed him the truth. I gave him understanding." "Understanding of what?" General Park asked, his gun still pointed at her. "That I am a murderer," Valora said softly. "But I am a murderer trying to save my children. That I have killed billions across the stars. That I would do it again if I had to. And that this human, she looked at Teho, might be the key to ending all of this death. Teho struggled to sit up. His mind was still reeling. The plague. Your people are dying from it. Yes, Valora said. We thought fresh life essence would cure us. Instead, it feeds the plague. We are killing ourselves by killing others. Ironic, is it not? But his blood, Dr. Sora said, understanding dawning. It fights the plague? More than fights it. It destroys it. Valora looked at her hands. One drop of his blood caused me more pain than any weapon you possess. But in that pain, I felt the plague dying. For the first time in centuries, I felt it weaken. The room was silent. Everyone was trying to process this information. How many of you are there? Taiho asked quietly. Billions. Spread across 100 ships. All of us dying. All of us desperate. And you want to drain him to save yourselves? General Park said angrily. No, Valora said. I cannot. His blood would kill the drinker while curing the plague. We would die from the poison before we could be saved. Then why did you come? Dr. Sora asked. Valora looked at Taiho with those endless black eyes. Because he is proof that a cure exists. If one human has this blood, perhaps others do. And if we can find a way to use it without it killing us, we might survive without killing you. You're asking for our help. Taiho said slowly. After killing millions of us, you're asking us to save you. Yes, Valora said simply. I'm asking for mercy I do not deserve. For help I have no right to request. But I am asking anyway because I must save my people, just as you would do anything to save yours. Taiho looked around the room, at the dead soldiers, at Dr. Sora's worried face, at General Park's angry eyes, at Valora's sad ancient expression. He thought about what he had seen in her vision. The children on her world who would die if the plague continued, the mothers and fathers, people who had never hurt anyone, dying because of a disease they couldn't fight. And he thought about Earth, about the millions already dead, about the billions more who would die if the harvesters kept hunting. If we help you, Taiho said slowly, can you stop the killing? I can try, Valora said. But I cannot promise. My people are desperate. They may not listen. That's not good enough, General Park said. It is all I can offer, Valora replied. Taiho stood up, his legs still weak. Then we make it good enough. We find a way to cure your plague and stop the harvesting. Or we all die trying. Dr. Sora looked at him like he was crazy. Maybe he was. But he had seen Valora's world burning. He had felt her desperate hope. And he knew that the only way to stop the killing was to cure the disease. We need to test his blood, Dr. Sora said. Find out exactly why it affects them. See if others have the same condition. And if we find others, General Park asked. Then maybe, Taiho said, looking at Valora, we can save both our people. Valora met his gaze. For the first time, something like hope flickered in her black eyes. The laboratory was deep underground, built to survive nuclear war. Now it held something more dangerous than any bomb. Valora stood in a containment cell, watching as Dr. Sora and her team worked frantically. Taiho sat in a medical chair, giving blood sample after sample. His arm was sore and bruised, but he didn't complain. Through the thick glass, he could see Valora watching him. Her expression was unreadable. How many vials is that? Taiho asked. 15, Dr. Sora said, labeling another tube of his blood. We need to run hundreds of tests. Chemical composition, genetic markers, reaction rates. If we can understand why your blood affects them, we can synthesize it. And if we can't? Dr. Sora didn't answer. They both knew what that meant. The harvesting would continue until humanity was extinct. General Park entered the lab, his face grim. The death toll is at 40 million worldwide. The harvesters are spreading faster. We're evacuating cities, but there's nowhere to run. Have you told them about the possible cure? Taiho asked. I told the world leaders. They want proof before they commit to anything. Some want to nuke the harvester ships. Others want to surrender completely. Nukes won't work. Valora's voice echoed in their minds. She was still in the cell but could apparently hear everything. Our ships are shielded. Your weapons cannot harm us, then what can? General Park demanded. Time, Valora said. The plague will kill us all eventually. But that will take decades. Humanity will be long dead by then. Comforting, General Park muttered. Dr. Sora's computer beeped. She stared at the screen, her eyes widening. I found something. Everyone gathered around. The screen showed complex genetic data that Taiho couldn't understand. Taiho's mutation is rare but not unique. Dr. Sora explained. It's a recessive gene. I ran simulations against global genetic databases. Approximately 1 in 10,000 people have it. That's over 800,000 people, General Park said. 800,000 potential donors, Dr. Sora corrected. If we can find them and they're willing to help. Will it be enough? Tejo asked Valora. Valora was quiet for a long moment. Perhaps, if the blood can be prepared correctly. If my people can consume it without dying from the poison. If the matriarch agrees to this plan. The matriarch? Dr. Sora asked. The eldest of our kind. She commands the fleet. All harvesters answer to her. Valora's voice held something like fear. She is ancient and powerful, and she will not easily agree to trust humans. Can you contact her? General Park asked. Yes, but you will not like what she has to say. The matriarch views your species as cattle. Less than cattle. She will not believe humans would willingly help us. Let me talk to her, Tejo said suddenly. Everyone turned to stare at him. Are you insane? General Park said. She'll kill you through the communication link if she can. Maybe, Tejo said. But I'm the proof. I'm the one human whose blood can cure them. If anyone can convince her, it's me. Valora tilted her head. You are brave. Foolish, but brave. Very well. I will arrange the connection. They moved to a communication room. Valora stood in the center while technicians set up equipment. She closed her eyes and her skin began to glow faintly purple. I'm reaching across the void, she said, speaking mind to mind across the stars. The matriarch dwells in the mothership far beyond your moon. She comes. A presence entered the room. Tejo felt it like a physical weight pressing down on him. Several technicians fell to their knees. Dr. Sora grabbed a table to stay standing. A voice spoke, old as mountains, cold as the void between stars. Valora, why have you contacted me? Why have you stopped harvesting? Matriarch, Valora said, bowing her head. I have found something. A cure for the plague. Silence. Then laughter, harsh and bitter. Lies, we have searched 1,000 worlds. There is no cure. I found it here, in the blood of these humans. Human blood accelerates the plague. We have tested this. Not all human blood, Valora said. Some humans have a mutation. Their blood destroys the plague. I have felt it myself. Another pause. Tejo could feel the matriarch's attention shift. It was like being stared at by a giant. Show me this human. Tejo stepped forward, even though every instinct screamed at him to run. I'm here. Insignificant creature, the matriarch's voice was full of contempt. You dare speak to me? Yes, Tejo said, his voice shaking but firm. I dare, because you need me. Your people are dying. I can help save them. Help us? We are killing your species by the millions. Why would you help us? Because your people dying won't bring back the millions you've already killed, Tejo said. Because revenge won't save anyone. Because maybe, just maybe, we can stop all the dying. Yours and ours. Humans are weak, emotional, short-lived, and foolish. Maybe, Tejo said. But we're also adaptable. We survive. We find solutions. And right now, we're your only hope. The pressure in the room increased. Tejo felt like he was being crushed. Blood ran from his nose. Dr. Sora cried out, You think you can bargain with me, little human? I could crush your mind like an insect. You could. Tejo gasped. But then you'll never know if I was telling the truth. You'll never know if you threw away your people's only chance to live. The pressure vanished. Tejo collapsed, gasping for air. Dr. Sora rushed to help him. Interesting, the matriarch said slowly. Very well. I will consider your offer. But know this, human. If you deceive me, I will burn your world to ash. I will harvest every living thing on your planet. Your species will exist only as food for mine. If we deceive you, Tejo said, wiping blood from his face, we'll already be dead. The plague will kill us all when you keep harvesting. True. The matriarch sounded almost amused. Valora, you will remain with these humans. Study their cure. If it proves real, contact me again. If it is false, kill them all and return to harvesting. Yes, matriarch, Valora said. The presence withdrew. The weight lifted from the room. Several people collapsed in relief. General Park was pale. That was the most terrifying thing I've ever experienced. That was her being polite, Valora said quietly. You do not want to see her angry. Dr. Sora helped Tejo to a chair. Are you okay? I've been better, Tejo said. His head was pounding, but we got what we needed. She's willing to listen. Now we just have to deliver, Dr. Sora said. Over the next few days, Dr. Sora's team worked without rest. They analyzed Taiho's blood from every angle. They identified the exact genetic markers. They began searching for other people with the mutation. Ballora watched it all, sometimes asking questions, sometimes just standing silent. Taiho noticed she never fed, never left to hunt. She was getting weaker. "When did you last eat?" Taiho asked her one evening. Ballora looked at him through the glass. 3 days before I came to your space station." "That was weeks ago." "Yes." "Won't you die?" "Eventually. We can survive much longer than humans without feeding. But yes, I will die. Why don't you feed? There are people dying anyway. People who won't survive their injuries." Ballora was quiet. "Because if I am asking you to trust me, I must trust you. I must believe your cure will work. Feeding would show doubt, or you could just be hungry." "I am starving," Ballora admitted. "Every moment is pain. But I have caused enough pain. Let me suffer my own for a while." Taiho didn't know what to say to that. This creature had killed his friends, had killed millions, but she was also trying to save her people the only way she knew how. Was she evil? Or just desperate? Maybe she was both. Dr. Sora rushed in holding a tablet. "We found them. We've identified 850,000 people worldwide with the genetic mutation. We're contacting them now." "Will they help?" Ballora asked. "Some will," Dr. Sora said. "Many have lost family to the harvesting. They're angry, but others understand what's at stake." "We need to convince them," Taiho said. "If we don't get enough donors, this won't work." General Park entered. "I'm authorizing a global broadcast. You'll speak to the world, Taiho. Tell them what you told the matriarch. Give them hope." "Me? I'm just an engineer." "You're the only human who has faced them and lived," General Park said. "You're the symbol we need. Will you do it?" Taiho looked at Ballora, at Dr. Sora, at the weight of 2 civilizations resting on his shoulders. "Yes," he said. "I'll do it." The world watched as Taiho sat in front of the camera. Billions of people on every continent stopped what they were doing to listen. In refugee camps, in underground bunkers, in cities being evacuated, they all watched. Taiho's hands shook. He had never been good at public speaking. But Dr. Sora gave him an encouraging nod. Behind the camera, Ballora stood silent, watching. "My name is Kang Taiho," he began. 3 weeks ago, I was an engineer on the Harmony Dawn space station. I watched my friends die when the harvesters attacked. I should have died with them, but I'm alive because of a genetic mutation I didn't even know I had." He took a breath. Around the world, people leaned closer to their screens. "The creatures attacking us are called harvesters. They're dying from a plague. They thought our blood would save them. They were wrong. Our blood makes the plague worse. They've been killing us for nothing." Angry murmurs spread through refugee camps. In military bases, soldiers clenched their fists. "But my blood is different," Taiho continued. "My genetic mutation makes my blood toxic to them. It also kills their plague. Scientists have identified 850,000 people worldwide who share this mutation. We need their help." The camera zoomed in on his face. "I know what I'm asking. Many of you have lost family, lost friends. The harvesters have taken people you love. They've destroyed our cities, killed millions, and now I'm asking you to save them." He paused. "I'm not asking you to forgive them. I haven't forgiven them. I never will. But I'm asking you to help end the killing. Both sides. If we can cure their plague, they'll stop harvesting us. If we don't, they'll kill us all before they die themselves." Taiho looked directly into the camera. "Donations are voluntary. No one will force you. But if you have the mutation and you're willing to help, please come to the nearest medical center. We need you. Both our worlds need you." He stood up. "The choice is yours. Choose revenge and we all die. Choose hope and maybe we all live. Thank you." The broadcast ended. Taiho collapsed back in his chair, exhausted. "That was good," Dr. Sora said. "Will it work?" Taiho asked. "We'll find out." The response was mixed. Some people refused immediately. On social media, angry voices called Taiho a traitor. "Let them die," people said. "They deserve it." But others came forward. A mother in Seoul who had lost her son said she would donate to prevent other mothers from suffering. A young man in Mumbai who had survived a harvester attack said he would give blood so no one else had to hide in fear. An elderly woman in New York who had the mutation said she was too old to care about revenge. The donors came in slowly at first, then in growing numbers. Medical centers around the world set up collection facilities. Dr. Sora's team worked to process the blood, to prepare it in a way that wouldn't kill the harvesters, but would cure the plague. It took 2 weeks. 2 weeks during which the harvesting continued. Another 10 million people died. Cities fell. Government struggled to maintain order, but the donations continued. Finally, Dr. Sora called Tejo to the laboratory. She held up a vial of red liquid. "We did it," she said, tears in her eyes. "We synthesized a serum from the donated blood. It dilutes the toxic elements while preserving the plague-fighting properties. In theory, a harvester could consume this without dying." "In theory?" General Park asked. "We need to test it," Dr. Sora said. She looked at Valora's containment cell. On a willing subject, all eyes turned to Valora. She had grown weaker over the past weeks. Her skin was less luminous, her movements slower. She was starving to death. "I will test it," Valora said. "But know this. If it fails, if it kills me, the matriarch will assume you have betrayed us. She will destroy your world." "If it fails, we're dead anyway," General Park said. "The harvesting won't stop." "Then we have nothing to lose," Valora said. "Give me the serum." Dr. Sora approached the containment cell. Her hands shook as she placed the vial in the transfer chamber. Tejo held his breath. If this didn't work, everything they had done was for nothing. Valora took the vial. She looked at the red liquid for a long moment. Then she drank it. Her reaction was immediate. She gasped, falling to her knees. Her skin began to glow bright purple, brighter than they had ever seen. She screamed, a sound that came both from her mouth and inside their minds. "It's killing her!" Someone shouted, but Tejo saw something else. Through Valora's translucent skin, he could see darkness moving inside her. The plague, thick and black, and where the serum touched it, the darkness was burning away. Valora's screams turned to gasps, then to laughter. She stood up, her skin glowing with healthy light. Her black eyes were clear and bright. "It works," she said, wonder in her voice. "I can feel the plague dying. For the first time in centuries, I feel clean." The laboratory erupted in cheers. Dr. Sora hugged Tejo. General Park allowed himself a small smile. They had done it. They had actually done it. "How much serum do we have?" Valora asked. Dr. Sora checked her computer. "With current donations, enough for approximately 50,000 harvesters. We can produce more as donations continue." 50,000, Valora said. "My people number in the billions." The celebration died. General Park's smile faded. "We'll need time," Dr. Sora said. "Months, maybe years. We need more donors, more production facilities." "My people are dying now," Valora said. "The matriarch will not wait years." "Then she'll have to," General Park said firmly. "We're doing everything we can." "It will not be enough," Valora said. "Not fast enough unless," she paused, "unless we make a deal. A real deal, not just a cure but an exchange." "What kind of exchange?" Tejo asked. "My people have technology far beyond yours. Medical knowledge. Energy sources. Faster than light travel. We can teach you. We can share everything." "In exchange for what?" General Park asked suspiciously. "A partnership," Valora said. "We cure the plague with your serum. In return, we help advance your civilization by thousands of years. We share our knowledge freely, and we protect your world from other threats in the galaxy." "There are other threats?" Dr. Sora asked. "Many," Valora said. "Species far worse than us. The galaxy is not safe for young civilizations like yours. But with our protection, you could thrive." General Park shook his head. "This is a trick. You want us dependent on you." "I want us to survive together," Valora corrected. "My people need the serum. Your people need protection and knowledge. It benefits both of us." "She's right," Tejo said quietly. Everyone turned to him. "Think about it. If we just cure them and send them away, what happens in 100 years when they face another crisis?" "They'll come back. They'll need us again. But if we're partners, allies, we can help each other." "You're suggesting we ally with the creatures that killed 40 million of us?" General Park said. "I'm suggesting we choose survival over revenge," Tejo said. "I'm suggesting we build something better than just ending the war." "We can build peace," Dr. Sora nodded slowly. "The technology they could share would save lives. Cure diseases. End hunger. It could transform our world. Or make us dependent on them," General Park argued. "All alliances involve dependence," Valora said. "But they also involve trust. I am offering you trust, despite everything." The question is, can you offer it in return? The debate raged for hours. Military leaders wanted guarantees. Scientists wanted access to harvester technology. Politicians wanted treaties and laws. Through it all, Taiho sat quietly, watching Valora. She had killed his friends, had killed millions, but she was also the first alien humanity had ever met. The first bridge to the wider galaxy. What they decided now would shape humanity's future for generations. Finally, General Park made his decision. I'll take this to the world leaders, but I'm recommending we accept. With conditions, strict conditions. Name them, Valora said. The harvesting stops completely. Now. No more deaths. Agreed. Your technology is shared freely. No secrets, no holding back. Agreed. And harvesters who committed atrocities will face trial. Not human justice, but acknowledgement of what they did. Valora was quiet. That is harder. My people do not understand your concepts of justice. We acted out of desperation. Then you'll learn, General Park said firmly. If you want partnership, you need to understand who you partnered with. We're a species that believes in accountability. Very well, Valora said. I will convince the matriarch. But I warn you, she will not like these terms. Neither do we, General Park said. That's how you know it's a fair deal. Taiho stood up. I'll come with you. When you contact the matriarch, she'll need to hear from me again. Are you sure? Dr. Sora asked. Last time almost killed you. I'm sure, Taiho said. This is too important to leave to chance. Valora looked at him with something like respect. You are unusual for your kind, Kang Taiho. You're unusual for yours, Taiho replied. Maybe that's why this might actually work. The negotiation with the matriarch took 3 days. 3 days of intense mental pressure, of arguments and compromises, of threats and promises. Taiho spoke until his voice was hoarse, his mind exhausted. But in the end, they reached an agreement. The harvesting stopped. Every harvester ship across Earth ceased their attacks. No more deaths. No more terror. Cities began to emerge from lockdown. People wept with relief. The treaty was signed in Geneva. Representatives from every nation attended. Valora stood as the representative for the harvesters. She looked small and alone among the crowd of humans, many of whom glared at her with open hatred. Taiho stood beside her, not because he forgave her, but because someone needed to show that peace was possible. This treaty establishes a partnership between humanity and the harvester civilization, the Secretary General read aloud. Humanity will provide medical serum to cure the harvester plague. In exchange, the harvesters will share their advanced technology and provide protection for Earth. The document was long, full of legal language and technical details. But the core was simple: cooperation instead of extermination. Valora signed it with a symbol that glowed purple on the paper. Taiho signed as a witness. Cameras flashed. The world watched. This is just the beginning, the Secretary General said. Rebuilding will take years. Healing will take longer. But today we choose peace. Not everyone was happy. Protests erupted outside the building. Signs read, "Justice for the dead" and "No peace with monsters." Taiho understood their anger. He felt it too. The hardest part came next, setting up the serum distribution centers. They built facilities in neutral locations, medical centers where harvesters could come to receive treatment. Each one was heavily guarded, monitored constantly. Humans and harvesters working together for the first time. Taiho volunteered at the first center in Seoul. He watched as harvesters arrived, weak from the plague, desperate for the cure. They looked at him with confusion. Why was this human helping them? Because the killing has to stop, Taiho told one of them. And someone has to start the peace. The harvester, a young female named Kira, took the serum. She cried as the plague died inside her. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you." Taiho couldn't bring himself to say "You're welcome," but he nodded. It was a start. Meanwhile, Valora worked to fulfill the harvester's side of the agreement. She shared schematics for medical devices that could cure cancer, energy generators that ran on quantum principles, ships that could travel faster than light. Every day brought new wonders. Dr. Sora and her team worked frantically to understand and reproduce the technology. "This is incredible," she said, showing Taiho a holographic display. "This one device could solve the global energy crisis. And they're just giving it to us." "They're keeping their word," Taiho said. "I know. It's just, after everything, it's hard to trust." "Trust is hard," Taiho agreed. But it's necessary. Not everyone agreed. A terrorist group called the Pure Earth Movement began attacking the distribution centers. They bombed a facility in London, killing 12 human workers and 6 harvesters. They shot at another center in Tokyo. "We will not be slaves to aliens," their leader shouted in a video. "We will not forget what they did." Security was increased. Military forces guarded every center, but the attacks continued. Fear and hatred were harder to stop than the harvesters had been. Taiho received death threats daily. Traitor to humanity, they called him. Alien lover. Someone even tried to assassinate him, a gunshot that missed by inches. Valora saved him. She moved faster than the gunman could react, disarming him without killing him. The man was arrested, screaming about justice. "Thank you," Taiho said, shaking. "You saved my people," Valora said simply. "I will not let you die for it." The attempted assassination made news worldwide. Public opinion began to shift slightly. If Valora was willing to protect Taiho, maybe the harvesters really had changed. Maybe peace was possible, but hatred runs deep. Taiho's sister Hana was a military officer. She had fought the harvesters during the invasion, lost friends in the battles. She came to visit Taiho one day, her face hard with anger. "How can you stand next to that thing?" Hana demanded, pointing at Valora through the glass. "She's a murderer." "I know," Taiho said. "Then why help her?" "Because the alternative is worse. If we don't help them, they'll die. And before they die, they'll take us with them." "Let them die," Hana shouted. "They deserve it." "Maybe," Taiho said quietly. "But their children don't. The innocent harvesters who never came to Earth, who never killed anyone, they don't deserve to die from a plague." "And our children?" Hana asked. "The ones they killed? What about them?" Taiho had no answer for that. The weight of 40 million deaths hung between them. Hana left without another word. Taiho watched her go, feeling the distance growing between them. The war was over, but it had left scars that would never fully heal. Months passed. The serum production increased. More donors came forward. The harvesters received treatment in growing numbers. The plague was dying, slowly but surely, and the harvesters kept their promises. Human technology advanced by leaps. New medicines saved lives. Clean energy replaced fossil fuels. Poverty began to decline as resources became more available. The world entered a golden age, built on the foundation of the darkest time in human history. But controversy remained. The question everyone asked was, should the harvesters be punished for what they did? The International Court debated for weeks. Legal experts argued about jurisdiction, about whether alien beings could be tried under human law, about justice versus practicality. In the end, they decided on a compromise. A truth and reconciliation process. Harvesters who had killed would testify about their actions. Families of victims could confront them. No trials, no executions, but acknowledgement of the harm done. Valora was the first to testify. She stood before a panel of judges and a room full of people who had lost family to the harvesting. She told them everything. The number she had killed. The planets she had harvested. The centuries of death she had caused. "I am sorry," she said, her telepathic voice reaching everyone in the room. "I know those words mean nothing. I know my apology cannot bring back the dead, but I offer it anyway. I was wrong. I let desperation turn me into a monster." A woman stood up in the audience. She had lost her son and soul. "Do you even understand what you took from us?" she asked, crying. Valora was quiet for a moment. "I do now. Taiho showed me. When I transferred my memories to him, I also received his. I felt his grief for his crew, his love for his sister, his hope for the future. Through him I learned what it means to be human. And before that," the woman demanded, "before you learned, you killed my son. You didn't care about his hopes or dreams. You just fed." "Yes," Valora said, "I did. And I will carry that guilt for the rest of my existence, as will every harvester. We cannot undo what we did. We can only try to build something better." The testimonies continued for months. Harvester after harvester spoke. Victim after victim confronted them. It was painful and necessary. Some found closure. Others never would. Taiho attended many sessions. He watched Valora struggle with concepts of morality and justice that were foreign to her species. He saw her change slowly, becoming something neither fully harvester nor human, but something new. One evening, After a particularly difficult session, Tejo found Valora standing alone outside the courthouse. She was looking at the stars. "Do you regret it?" Tejo asked. "Coming to Earth?" Valora considered the question. "I regret the deaths. I regret the pain I caused. But I do not regret saving my people. Even knowing what it cost, I would do it again." "That's honest," Tejo said. "Would you?" Valora asked. "If saving humanity required killing millions of my people, would you do it?" Tejo thought about it. Really thought about it. "I don't know," he admitted. "I hope I'd find another way. But if there was no other option? If it was truly them or us?" He paused. "Yes, I probably would." "Then perhaps we are not so different," Valora said. "Both willing to do terrible things for those we love." "Maybe," Tejo said. "But we're trying to be better now. That has to count for something, does it?" Valora asked. "Can someone who has killed billions ever truly be redeemed?" "I don't know," Tejo said honestly. "But you can try. We both can." They stood together in silence, watching the stars. Somewhere up there, harvester ships were being retrofitted with human technology. Human crews were learning to work alongside harvester engineers. Two civilizations bound together by necessity, trying to build trust. It wasn't forgiveness. It might never be forgiveness. But it was a start. And sometimes, Tejo thought, a start is enough. 5 years had passed since the treaty was signed. Tejo stood in front of a mirror, adjusting his uniform. It was a new design combining human and harvester symbols. He was now the head of the Interspecies Cooperation Program, a job he never wanted but couldn't refuse. The world had changed. Cities had been rebuilt, bigger and better than before. Harvester technology had transformed everything. Buildings grew from crystalline structures that were stronger than steel. Vehicles floated on anti-gravity fields. Medicine had advanced so far that diseases that once killed millions were now cured with a single treatment. But not everything had changed. Tejo still saw the memorials, walls covered with names of the dead, parks dedicated to victims, museums showing the horror of the harvesting. Humanity refused to forget, and that was good. Forgetting would dishonor those who died. A knock came at his door. Valora entered, also wearing the new uniform. She looked different now, healthier. The plague was completely cured in her species, but she also looked older somehow, burdened by knowledge and responsibility. "Ready for the ceremony?" she asked. "As ready as I'll ever be," Tejo said. They were launching the first joint human harvester exploration fleet today. 10 ships, each crewed by both species, heading out to explore the galaxy together. It was supposed to be a symbol of unity and cooperation. They walked through the facility together. Human and harvester workers moved around them, collaborating on projects. It wasn't always smooth. Cultural differences caused misunderstandings. Some humans still couldn't work near harvesters without feeling fear. Some harvesters struggled to understand human emotions. But they tried. That was what mattered. Outside, a crowd had gathered for the ceremony. Thousands of people, both human and harvester. News cameras from around the world. Government officials in their formal clothes. And in the center of it all, 10 beautiful ships that gleamed in the sunlight. Tejo took the stage. Public speaking still made him nervous, but he had gotten better at it over the years. 5 years ago, he began, we faced extinction. Both our species were dying. Humans from the harvesting. Harvesters from the plague. We had every reason to hate each other. Every reason to fight until one of us was destroyed. He paused, looking out at the crowd. But we chose differently. We chose to help each other. It wasn't easy. It still isn't easy. But it was right. The crowd was quiet, listening. Some faces showed agreement. Others showed skepticism. Tejo didn't blame them. These ships represent our future, he continued. A future where we explore the galaxy together. Where we face challenges as partners, not enemies. Where we build something greater than either of us could build alone. Valora stepped forward to speak. My people committed terrible acts, she said, her voice in everyone's mind. We took millions of lives. We caused immeasurable suffering. Nothing we do can change that. But we can honor those we killed by protecting those who live. She gestured to the ships. These vessels carry both our peoples. They carry hope, and they carry a promise that we will never again resort to harvesting, that we will find better ways, that we will be worthy of the second chance humanity gave us. The ceremony continued with more speeches and formal procedures. But Tejo's mind wandered. He thought about Yuna and the crew of Harmony Dawn. They should have been here, seeing this. They had died to give him time to escape, and their sacrifice had led to all of this. After the ceremony, as the ships prepared for launch, Taiho slipped away. He drove to a quiet place outside the city where a memorial stood. It was a simple monument, listing the names of the Harmony Dawn crew. He placed flowers at the base, as he did every month. "We did it," he said quietly to the names on the stone. "We saved both species. I hope you'd be proud." They would be. Taiho turned. Hana stood behind him. He hadn't seen his sister in months. She had avoided him since the treaty, unable to accept his choice to help the harvesters. "Hana," he said, surprised. She walked forward, looking at the memorial. "I've been thinking about what you said. About the children. About innocent people paying for others' crimes. And you were right," she said quietly. "I didn't want you to be. I wanted revenge. I wanted them all to die, but you were right." Taiho didn't know what to say. "I went to one of the reconciliation sessions," Hana continued. "I heard a harvester named Kira testify. She cried when she talked about the people she killed. Actually cried. I didn't think they could do that." "They're learning," Taiho said. "Valora says our emotions are teaching them things their species never developed on their own." "That's terrifying and hopeful at the same time," Hana said. She looked at Taiho. "I'm sorry I cut you off. You were trying to save everyone. I was just focused on my anger." "Your anger was valid," Taiho said. "Maybe, but it wasn't helping anyone." Hana smiled slightly. "I'm proud of you, little brother. You did something impossible." They stood together at the memorial, brother and sister united again. In the distance, the 10 ships rose into the sky, their engines leaving trails of light. Later that evening, Taiho found Valora at the observation deck. She was watching Earth from above, the planet spinning slowly below. "Beautiful world," she said. "Worth fighting for. What about your world?" Taiho asked. "Do you miss it?" "Every day," Valora admitted. "But I cannot go back, not yet. My place is here, ensuring the treaty holds, making sure my people keep their promises. You've kept them so far." "Yes. But trust is fragile. One mistake, one harvester who breaks the rules, and everything could fall apart." She looked at him. "That is why I stay. To prevent that mistake, and is it working? The partnership?" Valora considered. "Better than I expected. Worse than I hoped. We are two very different species trying to understand each other. There will always be friction. But yes, it is working." They were quiet for a moment. Then Valora asked, "Why did you do it, really? After everything I took from you, why did you help me?" Taiho had asked himself that question many times. "Because someone had to break the cycle," he said. "If I had let hatred guide me, we'd all be dead. Sometimes being human means making the hard choice. The choice that hurts but saves lives. Humanity is strange," Valora said. "You are weak physically. Your lives are short. Your weapons are primitive. But you have something my people lack." "What?" "The ability to forgive what should not be forgiven. To hope when there is no reason for hope. To choose compassion over revenge." Valora touched the glass, looking at Earth. "That is why you will outlast most species in the galaxy. Not because you are strong, but because you are adaptable. You change, you grow, you become better." "We're trying," Taiho said. "Not always succeeding, but trying." That is all anyone can do. A message came through on Taiho's communicator. Dr. Sora wanted to see him. He excused himself and found her in the medical research wing. "What's wrong?" he asked. "Nothing's wrong," Dr. Sora said, excited. "Everything's right. Come look at this." She showed him a holographic display of genetic data. "We've been studying the long-term effects of the harvester medical technology on humans. And we found something incredible." "What?" "The treatments they shared with us are doing more than curing diseases. They're extending human lifespan, strengthening our immune systems, making us more resistant to radiation and environmental hazards." "How much longer?" Taiho asked. "We don't know yet. Decades, maybe centuries. It's too early to tell. But the humans who have received extensive harvester medical treatment are showing remarkable improvements." "That's amazing," Taiho said. "There's more," Dr. Sora continued. "Some harvesters who have been eating the serum for years are showing changes too. They're developing what looks like emotional responses, empathy, guilt, things they never had before." "The species are changing each other," Taiho realized. "Yes. In a few generations, we might not be entirely separate species anymore. We're evolving together. It was a strange thought, but also hopeful. Maybe that was the future. Not humans and harvesters living separately in cooperation, but something new, something combined. Years continued to pass. The partnership strengthened. More joint missions launched. Human harvester colonies were established on distant worlds. Children grew up knowing both species as normal. The terror of the harvesting became history, painful but past. On the 10-year anniversary of the treaty, Taiho and Valora returned to the memorial for the Harmony Dawn crew. They had made it a tradition, coming together once a year to remember. "Do you still regret it?" Taiho asked, as he had years before. "What you did to get here." Valora looked at the names carved in stone. "Every single day," she said. "The weight of those deaths never leaves me. But I no longer regret trying to save my people. I only regret the path I chose." "If you could go back, knowing what you know now, what would you do differently?" "I would have come in peace from the beginning," Valora said. "I would have asked for help instead of taking it. I would have trusted in the better nature of species like yours." She paused, "But I did not know that better nature existed. I thought all species were like mine, driven only by survival and power. And now I know better. Humanity taught me that survival and compassion can coexist. That strength comes in many forms." She turned to Taiho. "You taught me that." Taiho placed a flower at Yuna's name on the memorial. "She would have hated you," he said honestly.